are listening to Unsolicited Genius.
All right, welcome back. So, are you entertained? What have you gentlemen been watching?
Craig, go ahead.
Nothing particularly. I've been watching Clone Wars, a lot of Star Wars stuff recently. I've been Star Wars benching, so Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and that kind of thing.
Now we're talking, Craig.
Nice, awesome, yeah.
Now we're talking, Craig.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on that.
Nerds unite.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah,
I've been on that hard recently. Like I can't even think of too many. And just for a little bit of love, I watched Ninja Scroll the other day. But I've been really hard on the Star Wars.
All right, I respect it. Me and my son had our Star Wars binging leading into the pandemic because I hadn't watched the Clone Wars, so we started from season 1 to season whatever, and then Bad Batch and even Rebels. Have you seen Rebels?
I don't think I have. That might be the next one up.
Yeah, check that out. It's definitely, the animation is a little different than the Clone Wars, but once you, at least for me, I had to get over that. But it's good. So definitely add that to your list.
Done. With all the serious things going on in the world and every other piece of media, that I need something that's a little bit of escapism. Plus, it's connected to me to that's one of my first memories when I moved to America was Star Wars. I got here in '84, man. So, that was one of my first memories include Star Wars and Shea Stadium. You know what I mean?
Strawberry. Stop good.
That's fair. All right, what you been watching, Uncle Mo?
I saw a Batman. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this movie again. I just thought I didn't think it was like the Christopher Nolan trilogy Batman. So I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. What else? Oh, I also rewatched Django, man. What a spectacular movie. Like,
you think?
Huh?
You think so?
What, you didn't like Django?
I thought the acting was spectacular. Sam Jack and Leo's role, I thought they acted spectacularly. The movie, from start to finish, yeah.
There's just like pieces of that movie that I like, hidden things in it that are, I'm not even sure if they're hidden, that I just enjoy. Like when the KKK, when the wife makes the masks for them and it shows you how stupid and like a bunch of dumbasses they are. Or even Mansour Candy's name, how he took it from the book about the Three Musketeers and he hated Black people so much, but the person that wrote the Three Musketeers was a Black man. He just went out of his way to show how ignorant they were and how it just led to, even though it's a fictional movie, obviously, it just led to them causing complete chaos with their immorals.
Yeah, I find that their
lack of morals, I should say,
the more modern stories in relations to slave masters, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, they highlight the magnitude of ignorance that, although they had the position of power, the collective level of ignorance that existed amongst the slave owners and the slave traders. Mm-hmm. So Django showed that. A book on The Water Dancer, we talked about several episodes ago, depicts that. So, maybe it's always on, so maybe I'll glance at it again with a different set of lenses.
Samuel L. Jackson's character make you want to slap the hell out of him, man.
And he played that part, boy.
Oh,
He played that part to a
I
T.
mean,
See, I also love art, right? I love the craft. And so the way I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio fan from start to finish. Even if the movie whack, you probably never hear me say that Leo was in it and it was whack. And Sam Jack, man, when he puts his all into something, when he gives it the Sam Jack Jack energy. Oh,
he was cooning from his heart.
Oh my God.
He was cooning from his heart in that movie. Oh, quick. Give me your top 3 Leo movies. Quick.
Titanic. What was the one? What was the
he
one?
Was a
with
damn
Africa?
fool in Titanic. He just met her. She got naked the night before, and he died for her. He should have took that damn ride.
What was the one when he was in Africa? The Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond. Is that the name of them? Blood Diamond.
I'm not sure.
Maybe Inception. I don't know. What's 3? What's your top 3? I don't know.
Well, my favorite Leo movie of all time is Gangs of New York. So I'm gonna put that up there at number 1 for me. Absolutely love it. Daniel Day-Lewis is spectacular in that movie as well. As Bill the Butcher.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Huh?
Wolf of Wall Street.
I'd have to think, man. I did, even though I was teasing about Titanic, I did enjoy Titanic as a youngster. I really enjoyed the scene where she got naked and he was painting her at my age at that time.
That was loud.
Very exciting.
That was loud.
What other movies is he in? I feel like we're leaving out a lot of great.
He got a lot. It's a lot, but
The Revenant, The Great Gatsby, the J. Edgar Hoover movie, Body Alive, Shutter Island, The Departed, Revolutionary Road.
The Departed. That was The
Departed, but that was just a great movie. I mean,
there was multiple great actors.
The Man in the Iron Mask.
Those are my 3, Carlton.
Shutter Island was intense. I wouldn't categorize it as a great movie, but Shutter Island was, like I said, I ain't gonna dislike a Leo movie.
Gangs of New York, Departed, and Titanic would be my 3.
Okay. So what I watched is we need to talk about Cosby. Brothers, let me tell you something. My relationship as a fan of Bill Cosby, like a lot of us Black that grew up watching Bill Cosby, is complex. And I started to perceive him differently prior to all of the sex accusations, the sex crimes. I started to really perceive him differently when he went off on us at that graduation, at that ceremony, at that event, because one of his position in the Black community, we knew he was revered. He knew he was revered, right or wrong. Bill Cosby, Heathcliff Huxtable represented the idealism around Black fatherhood. And while the character and the person are not the same, Bill Cosby portrayed that dynamic going back to Fat Albert and Picture Pages, right? He was our teacher. He was our mentor. He was someone who had lived a life, played the game, and wanted the best for all. His contributions to HBCUs and all that stuff. So when he went off on us, that made me revisit that bit in Eddie Murphy's Raw when he chastised Eddie, and Richard Pryor told him, next time tell Bill, call me, tell him to shut the F up and have a Coke and a smile, however it went, right?
Bill Smart filth.
I thought that was telling us something around Bill Cosby's narcissism. And so he go off on us. I'm rethinking the Eddie Murphy bit, and then these accusations start to come out. And for me, I don't know if it was the first one or the 10th one, but early in, it started to connect the dots. The dots that started to connect for me were around him and his narcissism, because those actions that he is admitted to, accused of, etc., are exhibit connected to what narcissism is. So then fast forward to me watching this series. One, it's been there from the beginning. So when he was Afro puffing it and doing that series that really popularized him, the drugging of the women was going on back then. Spanish Fly. He made jokes about it. He talked about it. But one of the things that really jumped out was the connection of his engagement with the colleges, in particular the HBCUs. He wasn't a student. He wasn't an academic, let me say that. But he got the doctorate degree title, whether it was given or it was earned. He donated to the universities. He could sit on the boards and do all that stuff. It gave him access. It gave him access to the people, to the co-eds, to the women who would be vulnerable to his position of power. And so however he chose to engage them, he would engage them, ask them if they wanted to try it. Maybe don't ask, slip it to them. But one way or the other, he found his path to using his position of power to use his drug to get what he want out of these women sexually. And he did it to women who guested on his show. And one of the women, based on, her telling of the story, he used his power and what he had done and what he knew about her on the show. He made her respond to him a specific way with a certain tone during the filming of the Cosby Show. And the way she said, he made me say it this way. And when you hear the replay, she said it this way, which did sound strange. It didn't fit. But to make sure she knew he still had the power, she made her do that. And so the series, we need to talk about Cosby. I think it's 4 episodes to it. It goes from the beginning to, I guess, him in jail, maybe getting out of jail. If all that be true, Bill Cosby is a monster on this earth. It doesn't take away from what he did. I can still see Heathcliff's Hustable and appreciate everything that was. Just to hear picture pages, they played that. I still get the little tingle inside, kind of like Reading Rainbow. I still get the tingle inside when the song comes on. But Bill Cosby is a monster, period. And we just got to accept that, I think, because I accept it for sure.
People better fucking accept it. That shit is fact. This is not an opinion. Like, Bill Cosby did that, man. I remember that speech too, Carlton. And I really didn't, at the time I didn't have issue with the speech. My problem is, man, I just don't like hypocrites. Bill Cosby stood up there on his pulpit and acted like he was better. Mm-hmm. That he could tell you on how you should live your life and what you need to do to be a good person and all of this. But at the end of the day, like Carlton said, he's just an asshole. He's just a monster, a horrible human being. That was a narcissist that was obsessed with power and was obsessed with inflicting that power upon people. So, that I love the Cosby Show, man. Like, I love the Cosby Show. But at the end of the day, it's a fictional show, and the man that Bill Cosby portrayed to be in real life is also a fictional person. The real person is, unfortunately, the monster that preys on women. You can't eat those. Predator. Yep, you can't eat those pudding snacks. You gotta check.
It's been rough for me personally, because there's been a few of my people that whose art I've valued over the years, and separating the art from the artist, or trying to enjoy the art without being canceled by people that don't separate the art from the artist and all that. He's in that category for me. Like, again, right behind the Star Wars thing came the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show aired in 1984. That's how I started learning about America. Like, it's through the television and Black America in particular and all that other stuff. That's the year I got to the country. So it was particularly impactful for me. And even till recent day, man, look, sweetheart, do you live up to the Claire Huxtable standard? I mean,
it's hard. It's real.
What?
It is real. It is, and I
Man.
know it exists in my life, the Claire Huxtable standard.
So it's been a lot of fighting through dissonance there for me, but I do understand and totally agree with your sentiment there, bro. I haven't seen the Kamar Bell special either.
Different for me, like R. Kelly, right? That would be the next kind of example.
That's another one. Yeah.
I don't listen to him because I feel it's queasy. I can feel the ickiness, for lack of a better description, when I listen to his music now. So I don't begrudge anybody who still vibe with it. Cause I mean, now, if I hear something playing in the background, Jeep remix to Bump and Grind, it all will still, the value, the quality in his musicianship as an artist is still there. But when I used to play and sit through an album and, I got into, a slow dancing kind of mood, a Hey Mr. DJ kind of mood, it's just the lyrics don't vibe the same. The lyrics, I just hear him swooning a little girl. And so that's why I don't kick it with the R. Kelly so much. But I find when I see the Cosby Show, if it's on, I can still watch it because I'm not I'm looking at the character Heathcliff Huxtable and not looking at Bill Cosby, even though the show was called Cosby Show. You was gonna say something more?
With R. Kelly, man, I don't play R. Kelly. I never say Siri play R. Kelly. But when you're having your music shuffle, sometimes R. Kelly slips into the mix. I can't turn off Ignition or Step in the Name of Love. Those two songs come on. I have to play it till the end.
Man, he did a great job, his rendition of Sadie.
You know what song makes me sick to hear, and I can't even make it through any part of it, is Aaliyah's Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Yeah. Yuck.
I can't even do Feeling on Your Booty. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you, dog.
I can't do none. I can't do any of them. Backseat of my Jeep. Can I get a beep? All the stuff, man. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying I don't play because of what he did. It's just where it takes me.
I also don't, I'm like you, I don't judge you if you listen to R. Kelly though, because you can't separate the music from the man. Like Michael Jackson was no saint either. A lot of people love Michael Jackson.
Well, I think that's a good example. See, Michael Jackson is weird, but the same concept. Things got funny for me with the Black and White album. I remember the big deal about his video, the Black and White video coming out, and it was all this stuff. So his music from that point forward, I don't dive into too much. But everything prior to, I don't, it's almost like it's a different person. And I can't begin to imagine internally what Michael Jackson's journey was. All the way up through his death, but it's a different experience listening to Beat It versus pick any song that came out in the 2000s. But again, that's just me. All right, so what y'all been listening to? Notorious Big anniversary of his death was last year, so I did my round of Biggie stuff and was reminded about not even
That
reminded, because
can.
you never forget. You never forget. But I listen to it more as a appreciating art than just getting into my hip hop vibe. Let me listen to this artist. Let me celebrate his life as we, recognize the anniversary of his death. Yo, he Tupac will always be my number one for similar reasons, and what they did as artists, I don't think can ever be matched. You could try, you can want it, but on them lyrics, man, Biggie don't have a bad verse. Whether it's his song, his feature, his album, somebody else's album, Tupac got bad verses. Biggie don't have no bad verse.
And no one ever got Biggie on a song to me. Biggie's my number one. He's my favorite. That's what I've been listening to celebrate the anniversary. When you listen to Pac, man, it's like an emotional thing to me. Like, you can relate.
Mm-hmm.
You can relate in a lot of ways. You feel the anger, you feel the pain, you feel all of that. But if this was like a rap Olympics between like Biggie and Tupac, this wouldn't even be close. Like Biggie is a much more skilled, better MC to me than Tupac. And I mean, the guy gave me my love for rap, man. Like, Biggie is my all-time favorite rapper. Just you couldn't name me a song where he's on the track with another rapper and that rapper gets him on that song. So
nope.
I mean, when you look at the songs, man, like 10 Crack Commandments, like he taught us how to sell crack in 3 minutes, in 10 easy steps. Juicy, Hypnotize, Who Shot Ya. I mean, just hit after hit. Like, the whole album is just riding. Even like the pop songs, to me, the commercial songs. What's the song, dog, where he says, ladies, my Mercedes, hold 4 in the back, 2 if you fat. Like, just that little, the wit he put into the rhymes and the pictures he painted. I
got a story to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness.
Dog,
can you see? You can see it.
There.
You're right there, and it's the realization that he's rapping that.
Had cats looking up rosters for the New York Knicks, trying to figure out who was who.
They still asking John Starks if it was him.
Yep, to this day. Yeah, he's just a phenomenal rapper. He was
so that's what you've been listening to also, Mo?
Yep, gone way too soon, man. To the youngins, if you haven't heard, go back and listen. You'll enjoy it.
Well, you know how we do. I'm not going to do a top 5. So if you had to pick one Biggie song that you took with you, what would that song be?
Wow.
Who Shot Ya?
Who Shot Ya? Okay.
What you going with, Carlton?
Always gives me the chicken skin. I'm on when that's on.
My Downfall. I dream filthy. My moms and pops mixed me with Jamaican rum and whiskey. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, I can see close second is Dreams. Dreams of touching an R&B chick.
Okay. All right. It's chooser's choice, right?
A little different.
For me, I would go with Sky's the Limit, man.
Okay. All right.
I love that song. I just like that song because it's like, that's how you come up with your boys. You know what I mean? Like, you have each other's back like that, like brothers. So I've always appreciated that aspect of the song. So I'll go with that.
Craig gave us a second one. What would be your second one?
What was Craig's second one? Oh,
Dreams.
What's your second one? I'll think about it. You go ahead.
One More Chance remix.
Woo!
I got to get my dance on, and it's so smooth.
Oof.
Yeah.
My second one would probably be, I'll go with one of his more gangster songs. I'll go with Warning.
The way he just did that one was that first album, you know, the double CD, it gave you options. It gave you a whole Notorious Big experience. But that first album, when this is who I am, and I'm just gonna come with the thunder. Because for me, I wasn't a Miami boy, New York style music, New York rappers. I wasn't really into it. But to hear the hype, Juicy was pretty cool. I was like, who this Negro is? You know, they talking about it. Had a couple ducats. Let me go get it. And that Give Me the Loot, the intro one, Give Me the Loot. And then just the way he spit rhyme after rhyme, the one more chance with Method on it, you know, before we got the remix. It was like, yo, this dude is if this what New York got, I respect it.
What I've been listening to, honestly, I probably, should out of tribute and love have been going out of my way to listen to Big, but I haven't. I've been purposely trying to avoid anything. Like if I'm playing it, it's nothing that's been produced after 1992. Like
nothing.
It's been heavy on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been heavy on because I'm really trying to go back and think about who are my favorite MCs before the J Big Nas era. You know what I'm saying? Like when I fell in love with hip hop, my five was different. The guys that were in my cassette Walkman were different than were in my Discman than who was on my playlist, right? There's different eras. So like for me, I've been listening heavy to Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full, and The Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
So
like
now
that era mostly.
So is this for the rest of your life, or is this just the season that you in? To not
it's a
before
season.
92.
It's a season, and I
Okay,
want to put together playlists for each of those seasons.
So what have you gathered as you spent some time in this season?
That because I think we lost track of how dope some of those MCs from those previous eras are, partially because of age, and it was in the soundtrack. I was my freshman year is marked by the death of both Big and Pac. And when I say freshman year, I say freshman year college. Mm-hmm. So that college coming of age transition is so heavily marked by that. And then just the following them from before that it got easy to forget that I had favorite MCs before J Big and Nas, right? Before Pac, right? Like, I mean, Eric B. and Rakim, go back, like Paid in Full is a monster album. MC Lyte is underrated to me.
All right.
So I've been going back and enjoying that era. I've been writing, 92 is when I'm going back to from 84 to 92 right now is what I've been primarily listening to. Even guys like Kwame, the Polka Dots Rock, baby.
You went back to the polka dots. Yeah, well, you said Kwame. My mind went to Talib Kweli, but no, you talking about Kwame. All right. I haven't gone that far back because, see, for me, I was definitely a lot of R&B, up through age 13, give or take. So my hip hop explosion in my mind and my existence and my experience really came with NWA. So when I drift back to what kind of excited me with hip hop, that's who I start with. Kool Moe Dee, Big Daddy Kane, I listened to him, but did I have a tape or a record or anything like that? Maybe one or two here and there. But when I was like, yo, I need some more of this, it was that 100 Miles and Running.
Well, look, Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Lots of Lovin', They Reminisce Over You. Like, I'm back there.
Yeah.
And NWA is in there. I'm like, I'm trying to get, what was influencing me in that era. Mm-hmm. Heavy D was mm-hmm. Heavy D is on that list.
Okay.
Not Enough Love. And as far as old Pac songs, one of my favorite old Pac songs, and I guess it speaks to my daddy issues, is called Papa Song. And it talks about the Papa Song. I mean, I think that's kind of, listen to it and get your daddy issues out. You know what I mean?
That was on there with, was that Brenda's Got a Baby or before that?
Before that.
Okay.
That is, what is the name of that album that it was on?
Tupacalypse Now, I don't know.
Might be, I think.
Okay. All right.
No, strictly for my.
Okay.
Strictly.
Strictly for my brothers.
All right.
And it's called Papa Song. Yeah.
All right. All right, gentlemen, what have you been reading?
What have I been reading?
Acts of Faith.
I've been reading up on the Emancipation Proclamation, man, because I've been teaching it to my kids. So I've been doing a lot of research on that.
Anything to share with our audience?
Well, the one thing I try to impress upon them is a lot of Americans make the mistake of believing that one, they believe that he freed all the slaves with that he didn't free all the slaves, because in the Civil War, 4 of the states, the border states, they had slavery, but they fought with the Union. So Lincoln didn't want them to leave the Union and go fight for the Confederacy. So when he issues the Emancipation Proclamation, he lets them keep their slaves because they're fighting with him. He just basically frees the slaves in the South, one, to hurt the South economically, 2, he could add men to his Union army. But, the thing I really try to make sure they understand is Lincoln realized that the Emancipation Proclamation was not a permanent solution to the problem of abolishing slavery in this country. He realized this was a wartime measure. He knew that at any moment when the war was over, any court, any judge could overthrow the Emancipation Proclamation and put Black people back into slavery. So Lincoln worked tirelessly to pass the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery forever in this country. And just, try to make sure, because a lot of people really believe that's what freed the slaves. It was just a wartime measure that was really used as a wartime strategy. It was not a permanent measure, though. So,
all right. You had your book up, Craig. Acts of Faith.
Acts of Faith by Ilyana Van Zandt. I have long since stopped being an avid reader, and I really want to get back to the point where I'm giving my brain some kind of exercise every day and reading, get to a point where I'm reading at least a couple times a week, if not daily. I would love to sell you the image that I'm some super progressive guy that's doing it every morning after he works out, right before he drinks a gallon of water, but I'm not, right? So my easing myself back into being a regular reader it's a book of daily meditations. And so I've been kind of, getting the food for thought every morning. It's not a lot to read. A lot of times most times it's just a quote of a few lines. For instance, today, March 14th is, God is as dependent on you as you are on him, which is a quote from Mahalia Jackson. And so I've been kind of easing my way back into that. And I also use it, I reflect on what I read, and, after reading her reaction to it also, or Ilyana Van Zandt's meditation on it, I kind of chew on it for the whole day and see what comes out in my own pen later on when I'm either in my journal in some form of poetry and prose. So I'm trying to ease my way back into reading on a regular basis. I just got gifted another book that I want to start by the end of this week. I love the title so much. It's by Laurie Mintz, PhD, and it's called Becoming Cliterate. Love it. I already love the title. I heard some people breaking it down and talking about it on videos or whatever, and a young lady kind of planted that seed in my head. So that's what I'm working on right now. I just got Becoming Cliterate. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I've been doing the Acts of Faith probably for around 2.5 weeks now.
Nice. All right. Well, shout out to picking the books back up again. I think you'll have to report back on Becoming Cliterate. I confident our listeners will be interested. My addition to what you read is The Awkward Thoughts of W. Kamau Bell. So he is the creator, producer of We Need to Talk About Cosby. So that was his show. He narrated it. And I also had read his book. And so I think from my standpoint, he is a very creative individual, a very authentic individual. And hearing him speak to his journey in life, dealing with the awkwardness of how he was perceived, whether it be in grade school or in society in general. What I wouldn't have known having just watched him on CNN is that he does comedy. He does stand-up comedy. So he's lived and existed that stand-up comedian life. And I have great admiration for comedians between what they do, how they do it, the fact that they can make people laugh on command, and the challenge, the burden of that journey. So, to read his journey, to read his experience, even to, the relationship with his wife, who was white, and what that meant for the world that he existed in, all the way up through him doing the special with the KKK, where he went behind the white curtain and spent time amongst them in their ways. So I look at him as being a very courageous individual, a smart individual, an artistic individual. And so, anybody who finds themselves in places and spaces where they don't necessarily feel like their authenticity is well appreciated, you can find some motivation in reading The Awkward Thoughts of W. Kamau Bell. All right, so we'll take a break with that, and we will come back to close out the show.
You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.
So before we head out, anything to add, Uncle Mo?
No, nothing at all. Just be safe out there, y'all. Mental health is very real. If you're struggling in any way, please seek the help that you need. All of us could use help. Nobody should have to go through anything alone. There's nothing wrong with seeking help, y'all. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So mental health is real. Make sure you're taking care of your mental health.
Brother Craig?
Yo, be safe out there, man. Today's all we got. Enjoy today. I'm leaving it like that.
All right. Shout out to Joe Nitty. Shout out to the producer.
All the time, every time.
All the time. Nitty.
Shout out to our YouTube followers, subscribers who've been rocking with us. I think we approaching that second hour, so we've been going at it. So for those that have been hanging out with us throughout, we appreciate you sincerely. All right, so we'll close the show out with Thoughts of Genius. On today's episode, I'd like to bring up what judgment is. You hear a lot about people saying, you judge me, don't judge me, I'm feeling judged, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I'd like to share, one, is that judgment is a barrier to thrive. And just as much as we judge others, we judge ourselves. And what we're really wanting is discernment. Judgment focuses on what is wrong. It insists that a person, place, thing, experience, outcome is bad. Discernment is about making clear and informed distinctions between things, people, places, objects. It's about seeing features. It's about categorizing stuff. It's about separating signal from noise. Judgment says that this is wrong. Judgment says you are wrong. I am wrong. What judgment doesn't allow for is learning. It doesn't allow for opportunity. It doesn't allow you to see the gift that exists in all things. On this show, we talk about a lot of people, we talk about a lot of topics, but what we aren't doing is judging Bill Cosby for what he did. We are acknowledging that what he did was monstrous, what he did was a crime. But with that, I still pray for Bill Cosby. I still pray for his soul. I still appreciate everything that the man did for my life in the form of Picture Pages, Fat Albert, The Cosby Show. He helped me see who my wife is in Claire Huxtable. And so discernment, however, allows you to recognize that this thing is not for me. This thing doesn't work for me. I do not align with this person, place, or thing. So as we go through our day, in particular on social media, in our lives, hell, when we look in the mirror, we face judgment. They do it, we do it, you do it, I do it. But it's recognizing the more we discern instead of judge, the more we learn, and the better chance we give ourselves in life to thrive with the people, places, and things around us. So with that, a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. We will catch y'all on the next episode of Unsolicited Genius. Clap, clap.
You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.